In today's video, we will be replacing our valve covers and our valve cover gaskets in our daily drivers.
Not only will we be replacing them, Colton and I are going to have a race while doing so. We don't really recommend doing this as fast as we're going to try to.
So to make sure this is as fair as possible, each person has their own Cobalt tool set. It's the exact same one, so they're both using the exact same tools. And on top of that, I'll be walking around while videoing to make sure that they're being pulled off and everything's being put back together properly. Valve cover gaskets on E46s is a common problem to go out. Unfortunately, on these two cars, the actual valve cover is cracked, so they're both getting new valve cover and new gaskets. This project normally takes about an hour, plan about an hour and a half if it's your first time doing it. There are a lot of videos out there that shows you how to do it specifically. So Damon's about halfway done. We have his valve cover out, and in fact, Colton just dropped his off behind me. Something that we recommend while you're in here, since you're pulling your coil packs and stuff out, check them, make sure they're good, and if needs be, you can replace them, since you've already got it all pulled apart and you have to put new parts in it anyways. So coil packs and spark plugs are in this same area, and you can access them super easy if you want to replace them. So what's the hardest part about this so far, Damon?
The hardest part? Probably trying to fit the ratchet clear back in here to get the already stripped bolt that was back there. We had to grab a teethed socket to reach back in there and rip the stripped bolt out. So that's been the hardest part so far, but I still have a lot to do, so we'll see if that changes.
Hardest part for me was definitely trying to get this off without breaking it. This is the top hose that goes into your CCV valve, and it separates the oil vapors and sends the oil back into the oil pan and the vapors out the exhaust.
So these are the two valve covers that was on Damon's car and was on Colton's car, and they're broken in two different locations on each one. This one's broken back here and then has a vacuum leak right here. Colton's is the same way, except for there's one in the front that's broken, and then there's another vacuum leak back here. Cracked valve covers we'll give you a vacuum leak, which will throw in a check engine code. So what we're gonna be doing is after the new valve covers go on, we're gonna be clearing the engine code and checking for any more vacuum leaks. We're nearing the end of our race between Colton and Damon putting on their valve covers and valve cover gaskets. Colton's got a slight lead. Damon had a nut in the back that was pretty stripped out, so I had to help him out just a little bit, but it didn't really affect the time. We're about 70 minutes in, which isn't really that bad since we had to set up and record and everything like that. So we're getting real close to getting the cars put back together and running.
So both cars are finished. We got both valve covers in with very few problems. I finished about 3 minutes before Damon, so it was fairly close.
If you own an E46, I would think that this would be a good project to learn. It's not the easiest project, but it's definitely a good one to know how to do. But it wasn't hard overall, but there were a few problems here and there, but nothing extreme.